start over.
A club licensee shall have food available at all times without an alcoholic product is sold, offered, sale, furnished, or consumed. What qualifies? A. Gratuity snacks, popcorn, beer nuts, pretzels. B. Vending machines. C. Order out pizza. Or D. Food sold and prepared in your culinary facility.
D.
D is the legal answer. Now, what constitutes a culinary facility? We've seen really, a microwave with, it does qualify. You'll see places like that where they'll have a minimum selection of like hot dogs, hot pockets, burritos. They're meeting the minimum standard, and those places tend to supplement by order out menus, and that's fine. But you have to be able to prepare something on site all hours of operation. Because SBI will check that. They'll come in, 12 midnight. Man, I'm hungry. Can I get a burger? Well, the kitchen's closed. Violation. They'll still drink, but then they'll send you the violation. $13. Another volunteer for 13.
Hey, I have a question on 12 real quick.
12?
It says product is sold, offered for sale, furnished, or consumed. So so we close our kitchen at 1 at the no name, but because they're allowed to stay in there and finish their last drink till 2, do we have to continue to serve between 1 and 2 food?
It has to be available during hours of alcohol service, but it's probably a very good idea to allow them to continue to eat, to minimize alcohol.
Well, we allow them to eat, but they can't order after 1. I mean, if they ordered before 1, sure, you can
That's
eat.
a management call.
Okay.
That's a chance to push some more.
Yeah, so many guys, I don't think it's very common that it happens. But, and I know there's questions of, people are done drinking on the way out. Is there any place to any eating establishments open? That's different than, hey, I want to order something off the menu. And at that point, I'll be the first to tell you that operating the fryer is not that difficult. The freezer's right there. Talking about the donuts. So I think it's definitely dependent on a case-by-case basis. Unless you guys are telling me that there is. Everyone's asking, hey, can we order off the menu?
It was just a question. I don't think.
No, I'm just wondering.
Remember how we used to put the chips in the window?
Yeah.
Chips in the window.
Yeah.
So you're not serving the alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. So number 13. Someone's going to read number 13 for me.
Is it legal to sell a 750 milliliter bottle or carafe of wine with one?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. Yes. The wine lobby's done a fantastic job in the state. They get all sorts of exceptions that. Well,
But you have to pour it for them.
what's that?
Don't you have to pour it for them if they can't pour
Yeah.
it themselves?
When they purchase a whole bottle, the server is always supposed to dispense the first 5 ounces into the glass, or however much, up to 5 ounces, and you can leave the rest of the bottle with
And then they can do whatever, like they can pour their own after that.
it. Yes.
Can they walk around with the bottle?
Well, they bought it.
I'm saying if we serve somebody a bottle, we do bottles, we sell bottles. What happens if somebody just walks off with the bottle, has the open bottle in their hands with 12 ounces in it?
Even worse, like offering people, patrons, from the bottle.
Because
I've had like people bought the whole bottle. I poured the first drink for them, and they just walk around with the bottle, just trying to serve people. And it's like,
here's a bottle of red I really like. Do you want it? They're trying,
Yeah. Now, as far as the statute goes, in the clubs, your guests can wander around with their drinks, and technically, once you've served the first amount and left the bottle with them, it's theirs. But you can have house policies to regulate what you want to have happen in your establishment.
Yeah.
That has drawn the ire of law enforcement,
Yeah.
especially up here where they see
Because
people
if you
hitting off the bottle.
or you have, a wine glass is, like 12 ounces. It was my last glass. I fill it up. There's 8 ounces in there instead of 5, I throw the bottle away myself, and now I'm walking around with an 8-ounce pour of wine.
Right, and
I serve
you, the
myself.
server, are limited to not dispensing more than the 5 ounces. The guests can do what they want. I didn't write the law.
Okay.
Is it legal to sell wine to go? Wine to go?
No, for on-premise consumption, they have to have started their beverage in the restaurant.
So,
Then you can cork it after they've had their first bit, and you can take it with them.
so it's not illegal for somebody to come in and say, I want to get a bottle of wine to go, even if we open it for them and they taste it. That's my question.
If
I've gotten 2 answers from you
It's
guys last year on this.
on-premise consumption, they have to consume on-premise. Means they have to start it.
So they can
Can
sample.
we sell it? I don't know where to go.
Unopened to go is off-premise sales.
Right.
You're not licensed to do that.
You could if you have a nice.
What about beer?
You didn't hear her
You
now?
can serve beer, unopened beers and wine.
3-2 beers you can sell to go if they've been in the establishment and have done whatever your establishment does with restaurants to dine and club to drink, and they're like, oh, that was good, I'd like some to go. Really, because you did that 7-Eleven beer.
So they can't purchase heavy beer to go?
No.
Like unopened
Not unless there's a
beers?
package agency attached to the establishment.
So in our case, no.
House policy, no, don't do it. Regardless, don't do
Just
it.
to define legitimately, on a Sunday, somebody can come in here, they can have a meal, they can order a bottle of wine, they can have a sip of that wine, we can recork it, and they can take it with them.
Absolutely, law allows for that.
Okay.
It's not a good idea, but the law allows for it.
Keep in mind, and this also goes to your question, but with your hypothetical, I get nervous when you say sip. You pour that 5 ounces, because then I can defend you guys in an action. Okay? Somebody says, I want a wine to go. You say, sir, I can't sell you a bottle of wine to go. I can sell you wine here, but here's your 5 ounce pour. Okay, they take that 5 ounce pour, they're great, I like the wine, you know what, I'm done, cork it. That can happen in the real world, but you make sure that you're going to be able to say, hey, I poured them that 5 ounces. Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Joe.
a lot, some of what we see is some of the poorer business practices are those who look at the law and really try to skirt it as much as possible. Well, I crack the seal and they sniff the cork. They didn't consume it. And why would you encourage that behavior in your establishment? Okay. Now there are legitimate reasons. You're going to fork out the money for the type of wine bottles that people buy here in Park City. They're going to want to take it with them when they have had their glass or two. And so that's why the law allows for that. But the reality is, you've now just sent somebody with an open container out of your establishment to get into their vehicle. You don't know what they're going to do. They pop the cork and they kick the rest of it back while they're waiting to turn out of your parking lot.
What I do is like draw a line where they can stop drinking and I initial it so you can see where like the wine was in the bottle.
That's pretty smart.
I've done that
Yeah,
myself.
and there are a lot of great ideas that you certainly don't have to adopt. There are a lot of restaurant chains in the valley. We know the management team will carry it out and put it in the trunk, just to be sure that they've done everything they can. But the law doesn't require that. But whatever your house policy is in regards to wine service, do what they've asked you to do. Yes, sir.
So even if that person is sober and they take that bottle or 6-pack or you just sold them to go, they get into an accident, you're still liable for that?
Well, if 6-pack
You don't know
isn't
what
open,
they're
it's not a
doing.
problem. But
Exactly, but with say you poured that bottle of wine and they took it, drove around drinking. I mean, you have no idea what they're going to do.
you have no idea, and your establishment is going to be tied to that chain of
No
events.
matter what, it's still
And
You're still into that
at least, at the very least, an investigation is going to happen.
Yeah.
You may be found not liable, but there's no reason to take those kinds of risks.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 hands.
Just to clarify, Ronnie and Canone, do you not do that?
Do what?
Like let people buy a bottle, drink a couple
You know,
glasses?
it's house policy that we don't sell it, but we
Okay,
do sell our logoed beer.
that's one
That's
thing.
the only thing.
Okay. and they can't bring it, we don't have corkage fees, so they cannot bring the bottle.
Once again, house policy, no.
No, you don't have to, okay.
Yeah, that's for the no name, that's the no name.
No name, right, okay.
And again, that's again, the law makes an allowance, but house policy keeps you safe.
What is the maximum, when beer was purchased for you from a club license?
I've never tried to buy that much.
So there's no like house.
Not off the top of my head that I'm aware of, and we can certainly look into it. Did you write that down? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Number 15, is it permissible to marry or join bottles of liquor when one is almost empty? No. Really? Because I've seen it all the time. It's not permissible. You'll be cited for it. Although I see it all the time.
We skipped 14.
Skip 14.
A single patron can be served a standard size 64 ounce or 2 liter pitcher of beer.
No.
They cannot. Now again, for perception's sake, for your establishments that serve pitchers, you should have a server deliver that pitcher to the table of multiple people.
We have no search and check IDs.
No pitchers?
No pitchers.
Pitchers?
We don't do pictures of any of our stuff.
Forget the pictures. Number 16, everything listed here is a potential sign that a person may be intoxicated. Okay? And even more than just being drunk, potential that they've had prescription medication that's making them all goofy, or herbal varieties. I'm not going to judge. But so any time you see some of this behavior, it should be a flag to you. It doesn't mean that they are drunk. We all know people who are loud without drinking.